right. Welcome, everyone, to another podcast episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching. And with me, as always, pretty much always, 99.9% of the time, is our marketing director, Jen Waybar. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Adam.
It is morning where we are. It's funny because I didn't say good morning to our audience, but I did say good morning to you. Does that work?
Definitely morning.
Yes.
Right. It's Monday. Yes.
It is. Oh man, is it Monday? Which is great because we happen to have a guest that knows a thing or two about Mondays for all of you. A repeat guest, a good friend of ours, a repeat speaker at our annual mastermind event, Corinne Hancock. Hi, Corinne.
Hi, guys. Great to see you. My favorite people ever, doing fun things always and bringing great content all the time. I love it.
Even on a Monday morning.
Even on a Monday. I mean, talk about being the brand of Monday, right? Like, that's a tough, Monday. Ugh. But what if, Monday was like Friday?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a matter of perspective, right?
I'm all ears. How can we make them all like Friday?
Well, or we could just do it also, I remember when we first got on. Now, on a serious note, we were sort of sharing, it is a matter of perspective too, that it is a Monday. I already had a flat tire on my car. I have to go to the airport today. I have so much chaos going on, but we're not in Kabul, right? There is some perspective to really look at it in a way that it's not saying that we need to be negative or feel bad for feeling sad that we're having a stressful day, but also there's always, I think, context to it that you can find the gratitude in where you're at, no matter what it is.
Well, and I think that's true no matter where we're at in our lives. I think if we all got in a room together and everybody threw their own problems up in the air, you'd still scramble to find your own problems. You don't want anybody else's, no matter what that situation is.
We never do. Yeah.
But you being what we consider the queen of chaos, for a number of reasons. One, you've got a lot of it. And two, you know how to deal with it.
Thank you.
So, let's focus on a couple of those things, certainly for a few minutes. What do you think the chaos in Afghanistan is like right now? I mean, what could these people possibly be dealing with?
Honestly, I can't really even imagine. I think it's actually similar to sort of this feeling of they sort of could feel it coming, right? They were watching the reports, they were seeing these other towns being taken over. They knew, but I think it was almost a little bit like how we were in March 18 months ago, right? We started hearing some of these things as some people were making plans, I think, but it was it's not going to happen to us, or we'll be able to handle it. And all of a sudden it was bam. It just hit them so fast. And, as many of you guys know, my significant other is former special operations. And so he has a lot of teammates that are over there. So all day yesterday, we're, on the phone trying to figure out what's the real situation on the ground, because hearing what's the news is reporting versus Facebook versus Instagram versus, videos are popping up, they're getting taken down. What's real, what's not real. But I think, again, just putting yourself into the perspective of being a human being and things changing so quickly outside of your control, no matter what the situation is, whether it's a flat tire this morning to your entire life being transformed. And think about some of these, especially these young girls. This has been going on for 20 years that we've been occupied there. If you're a 15-year-old girl and you've been going to school and living with freedom, you don't know what it's like to have lived under this rule. You don't know what that is. And so I think to just sort of put it into perspective sometimes of there's almost to what we don't know, we don't even know sometimes of what that might feel like. So I think there's just some perspective that we can put into place today of just sending some healing gratitude or love to not just the people of Afghanistan and what they're going through, but also, we have thousands of Americans over there, Canadians, German, all of our allies. These are cities that have been built over 20 years it's just chaos. Absolute chaos. And so I think just to put it into perspective that, things change outside of our control very quickly. And it's our response to these things that either make it go way worse or make it so we can create a plan, focus on the mission, and move forward.
Focus on the mission. I try to keep that one of the greatest tips I ever got from you by far. I try to keep that one in the back of my mind all the time. It's not always easy to abide by, but it is a good one. But Corinne, I can't even begin to compare the trials and tribulations of having a flat tire. And Liz and I have certainly dealt with a lot of the, American human issues this year, family deaths and having to settle out of states, and sure, cars break down and those kinds of things. But how I can compare that with people trying to cling to the landing gear of a jumbo jet in order to escape the tyranny of their homeland is, we're talking night and day kinds of chaos here.
Yeah.
I'm certainly reminiscent of the tale you've told us a few times about a medical trip in a land where you didn't speak the language and the government was uncooperative and so on and so forth. You guys were trying to open a hospital, if memory serves, a clinic. Things go sideways, but not clinging to the landing gear of a jet in order to escape my country kind of chaos.
Right.
So let's reel it back in a little bit into what people here, and certainly those in Canada, even those in the spec ops field that are dealing with what's going on, because obviously the ability to get to an embassy, to evacuate, so on and so forth, exists for people that fill those roles. It did for Zach. It does for his current colleagues. But how do we roll with the punches? How do we deal with this kind of stuff that, just pounds you right smack on the top of the head day to day?
So I think that my new sort of way for myself even is this reality that no matter what is coming at us, whether you are in Afghanistan or whether it is something of, especially think about people in your world. I mean, they're trying to get their home, like a home. Your market is the most insane world ever right now. I mean, you hear these tales of people and they're crying and, they're devastated and they can't, land the home that they want because there's only two to choose from. And, they're fighting for everything they can and paying over, and just this chaos of that is real too.
It is.
Like the emotion as a human being that we experience is still the same emotion: fear, disappointment, happiness, excitement, joy. It's all the same human emotion. So to try to put it into context of like better or worse, that doesn't make us feel any better.
No,
because
hardly.
The emotion is still real today. That flat tire was still really frustrating. It made me really anxious. I still felt a fear of like, oh my God, is this going to work today? That's still a real emotion. And so it's then taking that moment to let yourself actually feel what you're feeling. You can't just say, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. Well, right, maybe it's not in the whole scheme of things, in the big picture of the world. Am I going to be able to still do what I need to do? Probably, but you're never going to be able to find a solution if you're in the freak out mode, because you must acknowledge in that moment how you feel. What is real in this moment? This is what I'm feeling. I do feel anxious. I do feel scared. Deep breath. Now, what's my mission? What do I need to focus on just right now in this moment? Okay, now I got to make this phone call. Let's get it figured out. It's that step by step. I think most Americans, especially, you guys know and have seen that you can imagine that this has been my most chaotic year in a good way for my business, because I have a background in global health and I talk about chaos. Are you kidding me? Like, fantastic, but equally as challenging of a problem to have. But it's all about, like, is this a real problem or threat, or is it a perceived one? I feel that as humans, especially here in America, we live in the potential of what's could happen, and we operate from that emotion instead of owning the emotion in the moment and moving forward from there.
Sure, we do. No question.
Yeah. Which it's valuable to project and think, okay, well, what could happen? But, I think I've shared with you guys before, my great grandmother used to always say, honey, quit borrowing trouble from the future. You got plenty of problems right here, right now. So quit borrowing trouble from the future. We have plenty of things to deal with right here, right now in this moment. Are they things that we need to think about? Can we learn from the past? Can we put new things into place to do them better? Absolutely. But truly, focus on right now. What's in front of you in the next hour that you have to deal with? Because as we've seen, things can change in a moment's notice. Like, so what you were worrying about may not be the issue anymore. So like my grandmother said, right? Like my great grandmother, just quit borrowing trouble from the future. There's plenty of problems to deal with right here, right now. And on the flip side, there's a lot of good things to look at as well. But, it is that embrace the suck. It's hard and it's real. And this is our lives where we live. So, I say, don't compare yourself to other people's woes because no, you're not having the same experience. And if I did that, I would feel guilty all the time for being upset about my problems. But they're real for me. They still impact me. And I then have to make a new choice to move forward. And so it helps put things in perspective, but also don't beat yourself up over it and feel angry at yourself that you get overwhelmed or you feel upset during times of stress, because that's a normal human emotion and it's fair to have them. It'd be weird if you didn't, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a very personal, internal, reflective type of viewpoint. How do we, literally, I've always thought life is more about how you react than how you act. How do you
That's
roll
good.
with the
I love
punches?
it.
That was a lesson taught to me by a bunch of sixth graders 20 years ago. I won't get into too great a detail there, but you are known for spreading this content to some of the biggest corporations on the globe. I mean, literally rolling with the punches. Thriving in chaos is, was kind of the MO, the content, the presentation. How do we take these kinds of things and translate that into our business? Obviously, we all deal with a lot of chaos in business. It's not just about you having a flat tire, or even just about, an Afghani national trying to flee his own country. But in the sense of how do we take these lessons, how do we learn from them when it comes to our businesses, and how do we thrive in that chaos?
Well, I can tell you that it's a great point, Adam, because what's funny is I've really sort of shifted a lot from this idea of thriving in chaos, because no one wants to be in chaos anymore. People are like,
we're over it.
Thrive in it. I don't even want to be in it. I just want it to go away.
Yeah.
And so it's funny of, people don't love that idea anymore. And so I've really shifted the content and the conversations around the chaos advantage. How do we use this chaos to our advantage? Because I do believe it can always be used to our advantage. And yes, I mean, what's weird is all the companies that I've been working with, and as you're seeing in your industry as well, are having the most record-breaking years of their entire lives. Like there couldn't be more opportunity that's coming out of this chaos. But with that, it's creating some different chaos, right? We have major supply chain issues, we have major staffing issues, and major just personnel issues of this adaptation and uncertainty of, am I working from home? Do I want to go back to the office? What happens? Like all this uncertainty and change that has happened has caused this massive disruption. And so what I've really been working with organizations on, especially over the past 6 months, is this idea of like, you're obviously already experts at thriving in chaos, or you wouldn't be where you are.
If you've survived the last year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and not just survived it, but literally.
Oh no, by default, if you're still around after the last year and a half, you have learned how to thrive in chaos.
Truly, you obviously did. It just shows how adaptable human beings are, how amazing we are, like truly. Like, so taking a minute to acknowledge that. I think we sometimes forget that we have seriously kicked butt in not just our businesses, but what we had to do with our families, our friends, our social life. I mean, everything. And it's almost like we forgot how hard it was and how much we have already done. So I think there's one real acknowledgement.
I don't want you to gloss over that. I think that's a huge point. and obviously, if you're in a line of work, if you're a business owner, if you are, a head of household, a patriarch, a matriarch, whatever, and you have succeeded over the last year and a half, and granted, with so much chaos, it's hard to remember. It's hard to remember what square one looked like. It's hard to remember what we dealt with last March and April. It's hard to remember a year ago. But yeah, people have kicked ass all around the globe.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Huge. And they feel like they haven't, right? Even all of us feel like we've sort of, oh my gosh, like, have we done a good job? Have we not? And truly, I think if you're here, and your kids are we have. And has it been really hard? Absolutely. But I think there's a huge value in just taking a moment to take a deep breath and say, holy smokes. And that's what I keep telling my CEOs that I work with. Like, we got to slow down to go fast again. You don't need to keep sprinting. You're not in the adrenaline of where we were a year ago, 15 months ago. Like, take a minute, because also the people around you are like, holy smokes too. Like, we need a minute just to slow down, to go fast. That's what it's about right now. Acknowledge where you're at. Acknowledge what you've already created, especially in your business, especially in this transformation of adaptation. And now it's like, okay, instead of focusing on all the things that we've learned from the experience from the hard way, what about taking a minute to acknowledge all the cool things that you've created that you want to make sure you keep doing? What are some of the cool things? What are some of the cool things that have happened? Like, I love some of my virtual meetings now are way more fun than they were, like, having to drive to go to this appointment or that appointment. Like, just some of those time-saving techniques that it doesn't take away that personal stuff. Is there huge value in the in-person, and now finding these hybrid models and this blend and meeting people where they're at? Oh, it's incredible. Like, that stuff is great. Let's focus on some of the things that have really worked that we want to keep doing.
Embracing technology, certainly a big one.
Look, and especially for our older generation, look what embracing technology has done for them. I mean, my kids' grandparents now Zoom all the time and feel super comfortable with it and love it. How cool is that? That didn't happen before. Now, so there's some huge value in that. Now, I think there's also, is Jen still with us?
Yeah, she's. Well, do bear in mind, this is something that Jen is probably really absorbing because when we started, before we went live, Jen was definitely having a case of the Mondays.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question. She's overwhelmed, and with good reason. We've got a lot going on.
A little bit.
We're still dealing with, irritable heat here anyway. Now we're still dealing with the horrible air quality. We've all been breathing a pack of cigarettes a day because of the forest fires out west, and certainly feel terrible for all the people out west. I'm grateful that those fires are not in Colorado, and we're merely just dealing with the after effects, the smoke. But yeah, Jen is probably absorbing. She is probably looking back and going, yeah, okay, my shitty case of the Mondays really doesn't compare to all the great shit I've done over the last year and a half. And she has.
What you guys have done and adapted, and it's been incredible. So much cool stuff is happening, and so it is taking a minute to acknowledge that, like, really acknowledge where we're at. And has it been hard? Absolutely. But doesn't mean it's not worth it. It doesn't mean that what we don't contribute and what we create isn't worth it. It is worth it. It's just, is it always fun? Not really, but we're not, as Americans, that's kind of new for us, not to always be having fun and loving what we do. And so I think just embracing a little bit of that and remembering it's not forever. There's no experience in life that's forever. These good ones or these bad ones, they just kind of keep coming and evolving. So I think really acknowledging the good and all the good things that have happened, but not in a cheesy way, like a kumbaya, like, let's just focus on the good, right? Like, you guys know I'm not like that.
Hardly.
But is some reality to it of Yeah, like there's been a whole bunch of suck and we can talk all about that too. But I rather talk about what I've learned from that and the good things that have come out of it. And I think it's a habit that we have to help others do. And so in your businesses and in that, and that's what I really work with teams on, because mostly that's what people do want to focus on, the hard stuff and the conversation, because also it's almost like the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? It's sort of easier. It's more comfortable to talk about the hard stuff that we've already been in because we've been in it. But to talk about the potential and the possibilities, sometimes it just feels like more work. Like that just sounds overwhelming. Like I have all these great new ideas, but I'm so exhausted. How am I going to do that? I already have too much on my plate as it is. And so again, it's breaking it down into those small ideas. Like, okay, well, what's good right now? What's something just today I can do that moves those ideas forward? So it's not this big overwhelming yuck thing instead.
Yeah, somehow the yuck, the suck, it seems to make a tenfold impression on our minds over the good. I mean, looking back on all the good that we've done personally as a company, both our mortgage company and Just the Tips, and now Just the Tips bought Social Media Day. And I mean, we have had a kick-ass 18 months, but I think because the yuck and the suck has a tenfold impression on our brains, it's just hard to, circle back to all that good and let that be the propelling motion.
Right. And it's just a habit. I think it's honestly, it's a habit. And, you talk about, like, I love your idea of just the tips, right? Like it's just a small switch, a small little like tweak within ourselves to say, again, now acknowledge it, let yourself feel what it feels like in the suck and acknowledge the suck, but don't dwell in it. Like then move to the next thing. What's good about it? What are we going to do with it? And focus on that, which it's hard. I mean, truly, because again, psychologically, the suck is more interesting. It's actually kind of more, it's almost, it's tricky. It wants to kind of pull us in and hold you there and make you feel safe. But really you say, thanks a lot. Like, I got this. We're going forward. It's just that unknown, that uncertainty, that possibility that kind of makes people feel uncomfortable sometimes, but helping people find the good in it and the excitement will be what helps move them forward instead of staying in the suck of it.
Corinne, I'm starting to gather that we're getting a lot of ideas about what you, as a third-time speaker at the Mile High Mastermind, are going to give us next month.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to be with you guys again. If you're not signed up, you must get your ticket, tell your friends and be there, because we're actually I'm going to talk about sort of a new idea, especially about this idea of leading with impact. So I really believe, looking at this time, it's all about, what do you make an impact on? What do you want to make an impact on? Because really that's the result of all this chaos. That's using chaos to our advantage, making the impact that you want. And so being a leader of impact, being a leader that can influence change and help lead this idea of using challenging times, using this chaos to our advantage, it's going to be so much fun. And really thinking about, why do we even go through all this? What is it all for anyway? Like what the F is it for, right? Why do we live in this chaos and keep pushing ourselves through this? Well, obviously there's something that's driving you that makes you want to really push hard, and really focusing in on the impact that we make as individuals and as a collective is a pretty exciting idea that I think we're going to have a lot of fun talking about.
And I'm guessing the two of you have already talked about this content. Jen, we're not, we're just giving away a little milk here, not the cow, right?
It's true. It's
All
true.
right.
Corinne and I have talked regularly about this.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I know the two of you have become thick as
might
thieves.
include some wine and sangria. She has these amazing recipes that are always so fun. So, there's always I feel like there's always a bonus with you guys. It's always like, great this, and like, so another extra added value of impact. That's a good one.
And you're not just talking about the great parties we throw at the end of the event.
Oh, man, those parties and also the people that you bring together. That's why I think the network is so incredible. I have so much fun with you guys. It's everyone that is such a high achiever and loves to play and push themselves to that next level. And I think that's something else to remember as we talk about this, when we look at this idea of like, okay, well, we've had the greatest year, or I want to feel successful, or maybe I don't feel like I've had a great year at all. Well, what are you measuring it against? Again, I want you guys to put things into context. Like, what does being successful even mean to you? Do you even know what that means? Is it a number in your bank account? Is it the car you're driving? Or is it the time you spend with your family? Is it the vacations you take? Like, I don't care what it is, but you have to know how you're measuring it, or you won't ever know when you're there. And so I think people say that all the time, like, I just want to feel happier. I want to feel successful. Well, again, what even is that? Could you really define that for yourself to know when you've reached it? Because the thing with high achievers, as we all know, you reach it and then you just raise the bar again. So if you've never known what the bar even was in the first place, you're always going to feel kind of unfulfilled because you're going to keep moving the bar up. So you're never reaching it, so you don't feel like you've reached your potential. What if you keep reaching your potential, but you just keep increasing? That's awesome. You got to just slow down for a minute to go fast. Like I said, just what is it for you? And maybe you got to set some realistic expectations based on where you're at right now. We're crazier than we've ever been. So for me, a high achieving day is not going to be like going and climbing a 14er like maybe it was a year ago. It might just be if I can get my dog out on a walk, right? I mean, let's set some more realistic expectations based on where we're at too. And remember, it's not forever.
If you can get all of your own tires back on your own car before having to leave
right.
for LA.
I mean, my gosh, right? And my kids actually like make it out the door with all their, clothes on and like things. I mean, truly, you guys, like, let's set more realistic expectations based on our reality right now. That's okay too. It's not forever. Doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're being realistic and powerful. So wow. I think that's what really helps me is I have to remind myself all the time too, because, we push ourselves so hard, and I watch what all you two are creating every moment. Of course we feel overwhelmed, but it's worth it. Like, it's good work. It's not that it's, to be crazy for no reason. It creates incredible value, and it's awesome stuff that we're doing. So if we can remember why we're doing what we do, the impact that it makes, that sort of helps re-inspire us to keep going even on those hard days.
Yeah, and that's a true one. Absolutely, being in some kind of line of work where you basically get to put forth every ounce of effort in the interest of helping people. Yeah, if I can remind myself of that more often.
Me too.
Yes, it does seem like we're accomplishing more and more every day. No question.
This and sounds like the ripple effect it makes, right? And it takes us back to Afghanistan. That's why those people are jumping on those planes and willing to do anything to get out, because we just got the lottery by being born where we were born, like, truly. And so, my goodness, like, focus on those good moments. Like, is it hard? Absolutely. But man, it's worth it. Like, it is worth it no matter what line of work you're in, no matter what you're working on. We have the freedom to choose where we want to work, what we want to do, what we want to create. We do, even when it doesn't feel like that, but we actually do.
Sounds like this is going to be a nice way to come full circle with the entire event, Jen. You've got it set up where Corinne is going to close out the event.
Us out, and then we're going to go have a big party at the U Club.
And then we're going to go have a party at the University Club. All right.
So fun.
Well, why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about the event, Jen?
Cool. So September 24th, 25th, Corinne is a third-time speaker. I think we have, well, besides Adam and myself, we have one other third-time speaker, which is Rob Tate. He'll be talking about team structure again with Adam. I'm going to be doing a workshop about Canva. We haven't talked about that very much. I'm really excited. Ins and outs of Canva, the simple graphics you can actually create for your business, just to bring your branding full circle. Don't let it just be on your website. Bring it into your social media too.
Yeah, but website's another one.
But website is another one. We are going to crown the worst website of the group. So bring your crappy websites. We really are. But that person's going to get a free hour of website coaching with me. So we're going to make it so your website is no longer the worst of the group. Adam's going to talk about how to get published. We have social media breakout sessions, which we're really excited about. Clubhouse, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and
Podcasting.
We have a local podcaster coming in to do a breakout session. She's amazing. We'll have to get her on a little quick live to introduce her to everybody. But yeah, it's 2 days full of content, all workshop style. So you can actually leave and implement it in your business instead of leaving with a notebook full of notes that you don't do anything with, because we all do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm also going to be giving away a free chaos busting session with me, a one-on-one that you can either use with your company or just you individually. So I'll be giving that away as a fun giveaway raffle item, or however we're going to do that. So you want to make sure that you're there, and it'll be a great opportunity for either you or your company. It is worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
And we've
That's so
got
exciting.
a lot of those kinds of things with Jen's time and some other tangible goods, some great books. We've got some amazing authors on hand. I can't even remember what else. Video microphones and
Cool stuff.
Couple different books we're gonna give
structured
away.
time management clocks, and
And we all get to hang out together and have fun,
Right.
which is always the best part too, of just the amazing content and creation that comes out in those side conversations and experiences too. Every time it's been so valuable for myself and my own business. I just thank you guys for creating that and making such a great connection for all of us to come together to mastermind and work and get great content.
All right, somebody better throw Erica a nod. We know she's
Yes,
watching. She
yes.
introduced
Erica
all of us
introduced
years and
us
years
to the
ago.
fabulous Corinne. Corinne,
Yeah,
we actually had a
Erica.
speaker who couldn't make it last second, and I remember Erica was like, "Wait, Jen, come here," and she told me about Corinne, and I reached out immediately. So big props to Erica for that. We're super
Yes.
appreciative.
Absolutely. Erica is so amazing. I'll always be forever grateful for this connection. Thank
No
you.
doubt.
That's what it's all about, is making an impact and making connections. And truly, you never know where they're going to lead. And if you do the work and you operate with authenticity, it's always going to work and use that chaos to your advantage. It truly does, you guys. I watch it every single day. And, keep thriving in it and go forth and inspire the world to, see it through a different lens. It's worth it.
It
Awesome.
certainly is. All right, Jen, take us home.
All
Thank
right,
you, everyone.
So to get all that info on the events and our other events that we'll talk more about later, along with video content and recent guests on the show, or if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to get a copy of Adam's book, Just the Tips, you can get all that by texting tips to 63566. And we do have some tickets left for the mastermind. It is 6 weeks away, I think.
What's the date again?
Yeah,
September
5 or 6,
25th?
September 24th and 5th.
Yeah. We'll call it 6 weeks. Sure. But yes, text tips to 63566 to get all of that and more.
Cool. Well, Corinne, thank you. I know
you.
we milk a lot of your time between the mastermind events, and
I love it.
This is 2 or 3 times on the podcast, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't know that we could possibly express our legitimate gratitude, but thank you.
Well, as well, back at you. It's a mutual. So thank you guys very much for what you contribute again. And everyone listening, check it out. It's going to be amazing. And this is a great group to be part of. So thank you all.
You bet. And for those of you watching or listening live or in syndication, thanks for tuning in. The Just the Tips How I Met Your Mortgage podcast is broadcast live at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time every Monday. And you can catch it after the fact, either on our Just the Tips Facebook page or on our podcast on both Apple and Spotify. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.